Hey everybody, this is Robert, and actually somewhere else. And reason for me doing this video is not going to be a very long one. It can be relatively short, but to the point. There's a lot of crazy things going on right now, and as a Christian, we need to really take it real serious. I think there's a lot of spiritual warfare going on out there, and we're right in the middle of it. I can't tell you how much it is that people are being attacked. I just had a conversation with a real good friend of mine not long ago, and her and I were like talking about like what it is to be a Christian. And one of the things that she had talked about was in being a Christian, the do's and don'ts, and being Christians being judgmental. And I said, we're not supposed to judge. And then just recently, I heard a sermon yesterday on the way home from work that talked about Christians judging. And when Jesus was on the mud on the mount, he said, "Thou shalt not judge," and that's not what he meant. Meaning, if you judge someone and you're doing the same thing, then you're not supposed to judge another person for what you're doing, the same thing. And that kind of got me thinking. And so, yeah, I'm supposed to help my fellow Christians uh, to, to, to do it right. And so that sent me thinking like today, just it's been bothering me because these people who I love with all my heart, we're very good friends, who are Christians, which I know they are. I don't have a problem with that, but they're doing certain things that they shouldn't be doing. So one of the conversations we had was about the Holy Spirit. And the Holy Spirit is having the Holy Spirit in you and having the conviction. And one of the things that she had brought up to me was that she has a habit that she does, and she feels that she's not guilty for it. So then she has no conviction of it. And I told her that, so when you're trying to tell me that every time that you do this habit, that you absolutely have no thought of it, that you're not supposed to be doing this. And of course, she got on the offensive very quickly. And she brought up about Christians always judging each other, and right then and there, I noticed a change in her attitude towards it. And it really, what it made me think of is I had to diffuse the situation immediately because I knew that that wasn't her speaking to me, that it was something else. And then as the stories went on, her and I talked over time. I told her that I wouldn't bring up the subject again. But then she was telling me how her and her husband would go out, have a good time, and they would partake in, drinking. And then she would feel bad for drinking. She knew she drank too much and she'd feel guilty for that. And kind of like in my mind, I'm playing that scenario over about conviction. if you have the Holy Spirit in you, then it's the Holy Spirit speaking to you about conviction. And so these are the things that me being new to this and knowing what the Holy Spirit is speaking to me about, and knowing that the Holy Spirit is protecting me, and knowing that now when God speaks to me, I hear God's talking to me. God will never tell you that the habits that you have he doesn't want you, he says, oh, that habit's a good habit, or this is good for you to do. There's nothing written in the Bible says you can't drink. There's nothing written in the Bible about that. Of course, you might get some Christians who might come across saying, well, it says you can't get drunk and all this other stuff. Well, neither here or there. It doesn't mean you're going to go to hell for these habits or anything like that. But if you feel guilty over time, God's going to change you. But it doesn't mean that you're a bad Christian. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. It doesn't mean any of those things. And that's kind of what I was trying to get across to her. And because I think she thinks that people look down on her, like they see her doing something, like another Christian will see her doing something like that, doing this bad habit. And they point the fingers at her and say, oh, if you are a true Christian, you wouldn't be doing that. Well, that's not true. And so I tried to explain that to her. But what I tried to explain to her is that when you have the Holy Spirit in you, if you have that thought in your mind that you shouldn't be doing something, that's usually the Holy Spirit talking to you. And that's when she brought up the fact that she has absolutely no guilt or no thoughts about something being bad. And so that's kind of why I've been thinking about this. And I'm wanting to be sure that I conveyed it right. But after yesterday, I heard um, that sermon about conviction and about what Jesus preached about judging people. Now I did it right. I wasn't judging her as Christians, as a Christian. Like, I explained it to her exactly the way it is just because you have bad habits doesn't mean you're a bad Christian. It means that there are things like, for instance, like you steal. Uh, and let's say you're a Christian and you go out and steal. Now, stealing's wrong. It's part of God's laws that thou shalt not steal. And you know that that's wrong. But if you go out and you go to the bar and you dance, the night away with your friends and stuff, and you're doing other things like that, doesn't make you a bad Christian. Doesn't mean you're gonna, go to hell for these. But keep in mind that in your mind, there's certain things that are gonna play out in your mind. And this is kind of like some of the things like I try to tell some people, and I get kind of a little bit of kickback on this. If you ever see that scenario where you have the devil and then the angel on one side? Okay, so if that's the case, think of it this way. If you have that and one part saying, hey, go, the devil's saying, yeah, do that, and it's bad, and you feel like it's bad, and it feels like you shouldn't be doing it. That could be, it's like, but you hear the other voice saying, no, you shouldn't be doing that. Usually the side that says you shouldn't be doing it is pretty much, I think, is, the Holy Spirit speaking to you and telling you not to do that. Which my friend, I brought that up, and she had brought up an interesting thing, and it kind of rung true. She says, well, if you are eating and you know you're not supposed to overeat, and you overeat, is that a sin? No, yeah, she's got a point if I feel guilty about it. But then again, we have to be careful about how we judge people. And she's right. Christians do judge people for their actions. And that's something we shouldn't do. But stealing and overeating are two different things. Murder and eating, or murdering and drinking, and all these other things. Just because you dress a certain way is not a sin. Just because women wear makeup is not a sin. Because all these other things, it's not a sin. We have to be careful of what we call a sin. The Holy Spirit will lead us in the right direction. And that's what I'm saying. What's right is right. And so God will lead us in the right direction. That's what I feel over time. It's not going to happen overnight, but over time. So I tried to explain to my friend, I said, listen, just because people talk to you or talk about you, and one of the things that she had brought up was that she has an anxiety problem with, she sees people and they talk behind your back. And I told her, I said, listen, it doesn't matter. Let people talk behind your back, because just lay it at God's feet and walk away. It doesn't matter what people think about you. So anyway, that's my thing for today. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Have a good day, and God bless. Remember, watch for those demons. Subscribe, like, let me know what you think. All right. Bye bye.